playing with my fiddle.
That's about right. But seriously, was it 5 years old?
Yes, and my first teacher was a blonde 18-year-old girl, and that helped me a lot.
Kevin Costner staked everything on a dream that almost cost him his fortune and his future. Imagine mortgaging your own beachfront sanctuary, risking $38 million of personal cash against every warning. Yet that's exactly what he did. Now, he's scrambling to keep his epic vision alive, selling prized possessions and shifting funds between accounts. Friends whisper he's running on hope more than a plan, and right now, he's trapped in a real-life thriller where the ending is anything but certain. Born in 1955 in Linwood, California, Costner's roots were far from Hollywood glamour. His father dug ditches before turning wrenches for the local utilities, and his mother worked in welfare services. A silence hovered over the family after Kevin's middle brother died at birth, leaving only Kevin and his big brother Dan to carry on. With German, English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, and Cherokee blood in his veins, he grew up Baptist, moving constantly across Compton, Ventura, and Visalia. Making friends was a struggle, but in that solitude, he found music, poetry, and an insatiable imagination. At 7, a screening of How the West Was Won ignited something profound in him. The vast horizons, the raw frontier called to his soul. That seed would sprout decades later in his epic filmmaking. But before the red carpets, Costner was just a scrawny high schooler worried he'd never hit his growth spurt. At graduation, he stood 5 feet 2 inches, only to skyrocket 11 inches to 6 feet 1 inch by his early 20s. That rare catch-up growth mirrored his later career. Long periods of obscurity and sudden leaps into the spotlight. Hold onto your seats. This is where the real story kicks in. Fresh out of high school in 1973, Costner abandoned convention and built his own canoe, retracing the Lewis and Clark expedition. He paddled wild rivers, camped under stars, and immersed himself in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. The raw truths of Native American history moved him to tears and shaped the empathetic storyteller he'd become. You won't believe what happened next. On a flight from Mexico in 1978, he found himself seated next to Richard Burton, who dispensed a 5-second prophecy that changed everything. "You have green eyes," Burton said. "You'll be fine." As they landed, Burton's limo drew alongside the bus stop where Kevin and his wife waited. "Good luck," Burton called out. That moment seared itself into Costner's mind, igniting his leap from a marketing gig to nightly acting classes and moonlighting as a truck driver, fishing boat hand, and celebrity home tour guide. But the climb was brutal. His first break was a regrettable low-budget film, Sizzalabia USA, whose distributor later re-released it to cash in on his fame. He spent 6 lean years scraping by, even trying and failing to buy the rights to bury that film forever. An early flashback role in The Big Chill was filmed only to be cut entirely, leaving a single shot of his face and no credit. Invisible to casting directors, he felt the loneliness of constant rejection, like being the new kid at school on repeat. Yet he persisted, fueled by raw belief and that Burton-backed confidence. Then came Silverado. The same director who'd erased him from The Big Chill felt remorse and cast him in a part that showcased his charisma and raw talent. Doors swung open. Next was The Untouchables in 1987, the lead role nobody in the studio wanted until Steven Spielberg vouched for him. Bucking Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, and Jack Nicholson, Costner stunned the world, delivering a box office knockout that grossed over $100 million. Critics and audiences took notice. He didn't pause to celebrate. He sprinted into Bull Durham, insisting the director let him prove his baseball prowess. He hit from both sides of the plate, threw, ran, and anchored the film's heart, flipping studio skepticism into a $50 million triumph. Then, Field of Dreams etched, "If you build it, he will come," into the American psyche, grossing nearly $85 million and earning Oscar nods. By 1990, Costner hungered for more than acting credits. Launching TIG Productions, he championed Dances with Wolves, refusing to cut its Native American language scenes or trim its budget. He poured millions of his own money in, risking financial ruin. But the gamble paid off. 7 Oscars, a $400 million return, and a forever altered Hollywood landscape. Next came The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston, another all-in bet that delivered over $400 million and the best-selling soundtrack ever. Each victory emboldened him, yet he never stopped wagering on stories only he could tell. Financially, Costner's story offers hard-earned lessons. Never bet the house without a backup plan. Diversify income streams through side ventures. Protect your assets with ironclad insurance policies. Health, liability, and production coverage can mean the difference between solvency and catastrophe. Finally, invest in your vision long before others believe in it. His early funding of Dances with Wolves exemplifies the power of conviction over consensus. These insights transcend Hollywood. They're universal strategies for building and sustaining wealth. Today, as Horizon's budget teeters and creditors circle, Costner's saga underscores one truth. He doesn't wait for permission. He writes his own script, paying the price when necessary and reaping the rewards when the world catches up. His journey from shy boy in welfare-lined churches to megastar and missionary for untold stories proves that resilience, belief, and a willingness to risk it all still matter in an industry obsessed with safe bets. So here's the question hanging over every aspiring creator. How far would you go to make your vision real? He walked the Cannes red carpet again, this time not as the golden boy of the 90s, but as the battle-hardened director, staking everything on his vision. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and reporters fired questions. But Costner, calm and collected, smiled through it all. Horizon Chapter 2 had just dropped, and despite critics being torn, the crowds showed up. His passion project was alive. That's the twist no one saw coming. Kevin Costner, once mocked for Waterworld and The Postman, is now hailed for his tenacity. That same man who lost $80 million in a divorce and mortgaged his dream home is now projected to cross $300 million in total net worth again by 2026. His wealth dipped hard during the Horizon gamble, but insiders say new international deals and digital licensing are already closing the gap. But Costner isn't the only name making waves. Across town, Rhea Perlman made a quiet yet powerful return. While she once defined comedy royalty with her role as Carla on Cheers, today she's reclaiming attention for something far more personal: her resilience. After splitting from Danny DeVito, she didn't fade away. Instead, she pivoted to voice work, indie projects, and surprisingly lucrative real estate ventures. It's easy to miss, but Perlman has a portfolio that includes Manhattan co-ops and LA properties worth over $15 million combined. She may have stepped back from center stage, but she never stopped building. And now, with a role in an upcoming Netflix thriller and a guest appearance in the final season of The Bear, she's reminding Hollywood and fans that legends never truly disappear. Then there's George Wendt, once the heart and soul of Cheers. For years, he flew under the radar. But now, in a surprise twist, he's back on Broadway, and it's not just nostalgia. His performance is raw, emotional, and deeply human. Audiences are connecting with the same man who used to raise a beer at the bar, but now carries the weight of decades in his voice. And, behind the scenes, George quietly sold several memorabilia pieces from his Cheers days, netting over $2 million in private auctions. But that's not because he's struggling. Far from it. Wendt's net worth is steady around $25 million, buoyed by syndication royalties and theater deals. The man who once delivered punchlines is now delivering masterclasses in reinvention. Shelley Long, however, is the most haunting story of them all. Once America's sweetheart, she vanished from Hollywood's spotlight after her turbulent departure from Cheers. But now, she's finally speaking out. In a recent interview, Shelley revealed the real reason she walked away wasn't ego. It was exhaustion, mental burnout, and the weight of playing a persona that didn't match who she really was. It's a confession that stunned fans. Her candor sparked a wave of support, and offers started pouring in. She turned most down, but agreed to produce a docuseries chronicling the highs and lows of her life. Tentatively titled Shelley, The Goodbye Girl's Return. With a net worth now estimated around $7 million, largely from smart investments and residuals, Shelley may not be chasing the spotlight, but it's certainly finding her again. Each of these stars has danced with fame, endured its costs, and now re-emerges with their own version of a second act. And just when you think their stories have settled, a new chapter ignites. Costner's Horizon. Chapter 3 is already halfway through filming. Rhea Perlman's Netflix deal includes a potential spin-off. George Wendt is reportedly in talks for a Cheers reunion special. And Shelley Long? She might just narrate it. Hollywood has always loved a comeback. But this moment? This isn't about comebacks. It's about reckoning, reinvention. It's the story of stars who were written off, only to write themselves back in.